Testing. Testing is.
I'm recording.
Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to Vox Pop bookstore in Fitness Park, Brooklyn. As you know, this is jointly connected with Publisher Self, currently known as Long Dash Publishing, and I'm Charles A. Johnson. But if you want to go on the YouTube channel, look up my site, Soseztheleadr. That's my channel handle, and I've written a book series entitled Princess Luanne and Wizard Heatheria. I came here to hopefully get people interested in my book. I've been advertising on YouTube, MySpace, everywhere. And first off, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the series that is currently available worldwide, mostly on Amazon.com. Mostly the theme is about changing lives, changing people's perspective, changing literally destiny of things, the shape of things to come, which is what my book was initially written for, to change people's lives. Anyway, the main characters, Luanne and Heatheria, team up. First they become sisters, and then they become an extended family when they meet three unlikely other family members that were part of a team. They were part of a team called the Council of Five, and now it's going to be called the Fellowship of Light. And I'd just like to read a few excerpts from my first book, What is Destiny, for all of you.
It's recording. Okay, now it's recording. Recording now.
Now, this chapter states exactly how Luanne feels about a sudden arranged marriage to the Prince of Doloria, who is known as Orem, whose name literally means gold. Dear Diary, Luanne wrote in a small book as she lay face first and stomach down on the foot of her bed a fortnight later. Things have not been going well for me. In just a few short hours, whether I like it or not, I will be attending the party that honors my engagement to Prince Orem. She shuddered involuntarily and continued. To make matters worse, I cannot refuse his proposal, because my father and King Goldmeyer have just signed a decree that goes into effect after tonight. It states that the kingdoms of Melania and Doloria will be united once I am wed to the prince. This isn't fair for me, because if I go through with this and marry that radical prince, I shall never be happy again. My father doesn't even seem to care about my feelings. All he wants is for me to bear an heir to Melania, and preferably a son. He won't admit it, but I think he believes I'm a disgrace to my title. Sometimes I don't understand why he just won't let me live my life the way I want to. I'm practically 21, for crying out loud. He has to stop treating me like a child. He can trust me to rule Melania. He can trust me to follow his heart, to follow my heart. But deep inside, he doesn't care. In reality, all he sees me as is his little girl, his daughter who cost Mom her life. I almost wish she were here to talk some sense into him. Tears pooled in her eyes, but she kept writing. I know I'll be seeing more of my thinking spot again. End of you, diary. I'll write after the party is over. Your faithful servant, Luanne. Luanne signed her name in her diary and finished it with a flourish. Then she blinked back her tears as she rose from her bed and went to a wardrobe bureau in the corner of the room. She threw open its mother-of-pearl double doors and checked inside, holding up different dresses and gowns of all shapes, colors, and sizes against her person. "No," she murmured to herself, holding up a rose pink gown with a gold bow in the middle. "I wore this when I was sweet 16. She held up a long-sleeved red dress. I always go out riding in this. It didn't feel right." In the stables out at the grassy plains lived Luanne's lovely black horse, named Fling after her imaginary friend at 6. The princess rode her for 3 days every week, and Fling loved the exercise. Holding up more dresses to her person and rejecting them all, she sighed as she thought bitterly, "Just great. The biggest night of my life will be ruined before it ruins me, because I don't have a single finger player." Just then, Luanne eyed the final dress. "Wait a minute," she murmured. It was a dress fit for a noblewoman, or at least a young Melanian royal, with a low-cut bodice and capped sleeves, accented with several sequin patterns of forget-me-nots splashed on its golden yellow background. Yes, this is me. After all, it's only natural that I should look the part of a noble woman. Luanne chuckled to herself as she slipped into the dress and examined herself in the full-length mirror. It's a little snug in the front, but I don't care, she thought, letting out a dejected sigh. My life is over anyway.
Okay, now.
Okay, I'd like to read another excerpt. This one takes place around the time of the night of the engagement party. It's one of the funniest moments in the entire book, and I'd like to read a little something, the scene for the entire scene for you. In a spacious room with a domed ceiling so high that hardly anyone could see it, many couples, all of them dressed in their most fabulous clothing, were dancing to a ballad being played by a string quartet, each of the 4 men and women dressed in black and white. Then the procession began. Everyone stopped dancing and turned to an ornate staircase as the string quartet started playing the anthem of Melania. First came the servants of either Melania or Doloria, a mix of men and women who were dressed in either blue velvet suits or red gowns. The men brought flags of red and gold, each bearing either the crest of Melania or Doloria. The crest of, and just in case I forgot to mention this, the crest of Melania is an M created from 4 swords with their points and hilts end to end. And the crest of Doloria is a gold crown drawing surrounded in sunbeams. The women brought between them red and gold tapestries bearing either of the same crests. Next came the 2 kings, Adamant of Melania and Goldmire of Doloria. They were wearing their best uniforms. Adamant wore a white velvet tunic under a sash festooned with medals. Goldmire wore a gold tunic and a matching gold cape threaded with silver. Adamant and Goldmire took their places opposite each other in front of their respective groups of servants. Then the big moment was about to come. The quartet was playing the chords of the anthem's final stanza. Everyone held their breath and waited, and then it happened. Princess Luanne made her way toward Prince Orm at the top of the stairs. He bowed to her, and she curtsied politely in return. Reluctantly, she offered him her hand, and he accepted it. Then, in unison, the twosome made their way down the stairs into the ballroom. Luanne cast a sidelong glance at Orm. "Let me just say I will never be happy with you as long as I live," she hissed. Unfortunately, he paid her no never mind. He just looked straight ahead as if he were ignoring her. "Well, why am I not surprised, she thought. The story of my life. Everyone ignores my wishes these days. Orm and Luanne made their way into the center of the ballroom as the guests bowed and respected both of them with, "Your Highness." In the center of the ballroom, the couple joined hands with each other, and the string quartet started playing a slow ballad. Orm started sweeping Luanne around the dance floor. "And another thing," she murmured to Orm. "I can feel you breathe, and it just makes me feel even worse." But Orm only swept Luanne around some more as the quartet played their second movement. "Let me lead this time," Luanne suggested. Orm nodded, but he seemed not to hear her. "Just in case, I've got to remind them who's the true heir to our kingdoms." As Orm swept the princess around again, her left foot wound up and found its target, his shin. Orm winced, and his face wore a grimace of pain, but unfortunately, as Luanne realized, he didn't let that stop him, and he swept her around as the song neared its final stanza. Luanne frowned at Orm, but he seemed to be ignoring her again as he swept her around once more. "I said," she repeated through clenched teeth, "let me lead this time." This time her high heel slammed down on his big toe. He grunted in pain as he almost crumpled to the dance floor, just as the music reached its coda and came down to its final notes. Luanne took this chance and she dipped Orm toward the dance floor. But suddenly, she let him slip out of her hands, accidentally on purpose, and he hit the dance floor with a grunt. Everyone had seen the incident. Soon there were titters, then chuckles, and finally loud laughter. Orm looked around the room, and his face flamed red as everyone roared with laughter at his misfortune. "Oh, I am so sorry," Luanne said with mock sympathy. "Did I drop you when I should have dipped you? I'm such an airhead." She extended her hand. "Let me help you up." Orm reached for her hand, and Orm reached for her hand, and Luanne started to help him up. But halfway there, she let go, and he fell back to the floor, causing the audience to erupt with more laughter. "Oops!" Luanne squeaked, a phony sweet smile crossing her face. "Butterfingers me," she chuckled mischievously. "You did that on purpose," Orm accused her. "Oh, mwah!" Luanne innocently put a hand to her chest in mock horror. "Oh no, Orm, why would I drop you on purpose? You know a princess would never do that, at least not to someone as wealthy as you." Before Orm could form a retort, a bell sounded in the distance, signaling that the dinner was about to start. Then the guests filed toward a small door leading into the palace dining room. This time, Orm cast a sidelong glance at Luanne as they walked with the rest of the guests. "Let me just say, you better at least pretend you want to marry me, or the minute we are wed, your country is history."
Okay.
Why
does it? Okay.
Excuse me. May I have your attention, please? Just in case you want to know, all the books that you see on the table are currently available on Amazon.com. Thanks to Gabriel. That's the publisher, self-publisher I've been working with since James Potter's building kind of met an untimely end. It was utterly destroyed in a flood in New Jersey. Anyway, a lot of people may not realize who Heatheria really is. So I was going to read you the excerpt where Heatheria is telling Luanne the story of her confinement, how she came to live in Doloria, because you need to know the story behind Heatheria. You already know the story behind Luanne, So you're going to hear the story that Heatheria tells Luanne about her being in Doloria, how she came to be in Doloria.
You want me to stop recording?
I'm going to read an excerpt where you know the story of Heatheria, what happened with Heatheria, why she was left in Doloria, and what her special abilities were. Now, for this you have to understand that Luanne has just been teleported in magical means to Heatheria's prison in the Doloria Castle Tower. Oh, my head, Luanne groaned. Note to self, never mix red wine and white wine with grape juice again. Then she swiveled her legs to the right and bumped them into the wall the bed leaned against. Ow! She rubbed the sore spot on her right leg. And that was when Luanne realized that she was no longer in her own bedroom. Hey! What happened? Where did my bedroom go? Your Highness, I am truly, terribly sorry, Heatheria said sincerely. But this was the only way to save you. Save me? Luanne echoed. What in the world are you talking about? Save me from what? And while we're at it, who are you? Maybe I should explain, Heatheria told her. It would be nice, Luanne replied. Heatheria took a deep breath. Like you, Princess Luanne, I am a prisoner of my own destiny. Let me tell you a story. She took another deep breath and began her tale. 12 years ago, on this exact date, a baby girl was left on the doorstep of Castle Doloria. Goldmire had just risen to power as king at this time because of the early passing of his mother. His son Orem, the newest prince in heir, ruled the day his grandmother died, and swore to the Creator that he would marry and continue Doloria's legacy someday. But he was a young boy, barely 10 at the time, and his father thought nothing of it then. The king of Doloria looked at the baby's necklace around her neck and noticed a heart-shaped heart charm with a strange crest engraved into it. The crest of the wizards of the village of Doloria. When he turned it over, he saw that the letter H was engraved into it. He had no idea what it really stood for, so he decided to call the girl an unusual name, Heatheria. When Heatheria was 5, she began hearing voices, and a foster brother thought she may have been imagining. But it was not her imagination. She was hearing the thoughts of people who came near her, and soon she was able to communicate with the thoughts presented to her. When Heatheria was 9, a great feast was held in her honor to celebrate the day she was found at the castle. That was when everyone noticed the gift Heatheria had been given. When a loose brick suddenly fell from the ceiling, she found that she was able to suspend it in midair just by thinking about it. Orem knew she had great magic potential and sent her up to the highest tower to perfect her powers and abilities. But on her 12th birthday, Heatheria was sentenced by her brother not to leave for any reason. That's pretty sad, Luanne told Heatheria brokenly. But what does it have to do with you? Heatheria reached into her sweater and pulled out a gold heart-shaped charm on a matching chain. You're an educated princess, Your Highness. Check this necklace out and it will all be clear. She watched as Luanne looked at the necklace charm from every angle, and a look of half surprise, half recognition dawned on her face a moment later. This is the heart charm from your story, Heatheria nodded. That baby left with Goldmire was you? She nodded again. Then, Luanne mused, and then a look of dismay fell upon her face. No, she whispered. No, it can't be. Yes, Heatheria confirmed. Orm, Prince of Doloria, the man you have tried to shun, he is my brother. Why? Luanne demanded. How could you be related to someone as pompous as Prince Orm? Not even my father would wish that kind of fate on the worst of his enemies. Anyway, as you know, this is the first encounter between Luanne and Heatheria, and and for my mom, I'd like to read another one of my favorite parts in the video, in the book. Ready?
Yes.
Heatheria sat on her bed, waiting patiently for Luanne to return, when there was a knock at the door. Door open, she urged silently. The minute the door flew open, Orm stormed in, and Heatheria stood up as he stalked toward her. Something I can do for you, my dear brother? She asked evenly. Heatheria, I need to know something, Orm told her. Go ahead, fire away. Princess Luanne is missing, according to her father, Orm explained. No one has seen her for a whole day, and for some reason I believe magic had some kind of hand in this. What makes you think magic has a hand in this? Because, Heatheria, there's no other explanation. Even King Adam is puzzled by this whole dilemma. Orm sighed. Sister, only you know the magic required to hide someone. I need to know, now. Do you or do you not know anything about Luanne's disappearance? Heatheria hesitated on this one. What could she say? Maybe there doesn't seem to be any way out of this one, she thought frantically. But despite her fast-pounding heart, she managed to keep her cool as she eyed Orm squarely and said, I have no idea what you're talking about. You already know that I'm loyal to you. Yes, I do. But I also know that you are a white magician, a follower of the light. You would turn on anyone who went back on his word. Also, I know you can read minds. And if by any chance you read my thoughts last night while you watched me, you probably would have known about my real reason for marrying Luanne. So what if I did read your mind? And there you could ask calmly. So, Orm paused. I believe you would have had a reason to probably hide Luanne from me. But how? He held a finger to his chin as he pretended to think about it. And when he spoke again, his voice became menacing. I know what happened. While you were watching the party, you brought Luanne to your tower to protect her, he finished in a shout. But before Heatheria or Orm could say any more, the door suddenly flew open and a woman's voice came out of thin air. Sorry it took me so long to get back here, Heatheria. I needed to... Orm! What are you? The voice trailed off. Heatheria winced. She couldn't see her face, but she knew that Luanne was staring at Orm. The truth was out. She sighed as she said to the voice, you might as well reveal yourself. On that note, the invisible woman revealed her head, then took off her invisibility cloak and revealed the rest of her. Luanne, Orm said hoarsely. Hello, Orm, Luanne said evenly. When after our wedding are you planning on hosting my execution? And did you choose the guillotine for me? Or did you decide to hang me instead, Luanne? Orm began through clenched teeth. Heatheria told me all about your master plan. How you wanted to marry me just because of my inheritance. How much enough for you, Orm? Luanne finished fiercely. You don't understand at all, Orm countered. Our fathers had the perfect future planned for us. No, they planned your future! Luanne exploded. Then she exhaled and began to speak more calmly. For once in my life, I'm going to follow my heart. There is an entire world beyond our kingdoms out there I want to explore. And not you, not your pompous father, and certainly not my father can stop me from doing that. Good go, Luanne, Heatheria thought proudly as the princess turned on her heel and began to walk briskly away. Luanne, wait, Orm pleaded. If you just stop and think about this for a few moments, you'll see you're just talking a bunch of nonsense. No, Luanne replied with murderous calm. All of the 21 years I have been alive, I have done what others wanted me to do. But now I'm going to shape my own destiny. Goodbye, my ex-fiancé. And with that, she walked away, leaving behind a proud Heatheria and a disbelieving and distraught Orm in the tower. Luanne, wait, Orm said again, louder. Hey, don't you walk away from me when I'm talking to you, he ordered sternly. Then his voice rose to a shout. Princess Luanne, if you walk away, you'll regret it! But Luanne's steps only quickened. A moment later, Heatheria could no longer hear her footsteps. That was fast, she thought. I didn't think she'd make it to the bowling already. Luanne! Orm shouted at the top of his lungs. Seems she's chosen her path already, Heatheria said warmly. And I was so close to marrying her, Orm ground out near tears. You still might be able to pick someone else, she said wryly. But Orm was not amused. He grabbed his sister by the arm and yelled into her face, "This is all because of you!" "Me?" Heatheria cried. "What did I do?" "I have to spell it out for you," Orm demanded. "You read my mind when you watched the party. You used your mind to interrupt Luanne here. And now I suspect she's become your apprentice. Only you can convince her that following her heart is her one true path."
Okay.
Well, as you know, in the end, Luanne and Heatheria become as close as sisters and become best friends while in the face of evil, while in the face of danger, in the face of all their adventures that I have written over there. And right now I'm busy working on a new adventure miniseries for the Fellowship of Light. You can check it out on Amazon Kindle if you have one. You can download, just search for The Race for the Rainbow. That it's in 5 parts. You can check it out on Amazon Kindle. And also tell your friends that the book series is up and running on Amazon.com. Thank you very much.